Good morning, people. So, here we are with another such amazing video for you guys. So, if you like our videos, you subscribe to our channel, hit like, comment, and share our videos. So, here we go. Yeah, today we start with 15th chapter, that is food and civil supplies. Okay, now come to chapter number 15, food and civil supplies. So food and civil supplies, so this department of food and public distribution, it deals with the distribution of the food grains and all, procurement of those, and it is very much of utmost importance for the food security of our citizens. Now, what kind of questions can be asked? Last year a question was asked regarding who decides MSP of sugar, right? So these kind of questions you can expect from this part, MSP, PDS, right, different kind of schemes as well. Now we come to how actually the procurement happens. So whatever the food grain distribution that government does by way of various schemes, so that food grains comes from FCI godowns. So FCI procures the food grains from the farmers at certain MSP. So MSP is decided by the government before each Kharif and Rabi season. So you can see there, procurement of food grains. So before each Rabi and Kharif crop season, Government of India announces MSP based on recommendation of CACP. Right, so question again can be asked in any other format. So you just need to understand MSP, decision regarding MSP is a political decision, right? Because government politically decided like how much MSP of one crop has to be in in our country, because government decides on the political basis, maybe the vote bank or whatever the way, but ultimately it remains the government decision. What's the role of CACP? Recommendation. CACP recommends, but ultimate authority to decide is government. And in the question there, if it comes Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. So even Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs is a government cabinet committee. So decision taken by, because see there are various cabinet committees. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, Cabinet Committee on Security. So just to make the work of cabinet somewhat easier, these cabinet committees are established to assist in the faster decision making by the government. So even when we say something is decided by a cabinet committee, we presume that it is the government decision, right? So MSP decision, announcement or decision is taken by government based on the recommendation of CACP. Now CACP can further take various considerations, that is a different part of the story. Nowadays, central government is also encouraging the states to adopt the decentralized procurement system. Decentralized means state government to come forward in the procurement and the distribution of the food grains under the various PDS schemes. So it will somewhat dilute the work of FCI, because ultimately now every single food grain is procured by FCI. A lot of work of FCI and these very poor cold storage facilities in our godowns, resulting into the wastage of a lot of food grains. Moreover, transportation and so many hassles comes into being. So when decentralized procurement comes into being, so it will improve efficiency, reduce the various kind of cost, and more transparency can be there, because it will be at the decentralized level. So when we say the food grains in our procured by FCI, that is even more than twice than the buffer stock. Basically what FCI does, it procures the food grains for maintaining buffer stock as well as distribution of it to meet various requirements under TPDS, Targeted Public Distribution System. Now if you see, FCI has a procurement of more than double than the buffer stock. So very high procurement it does. Why? Because we follows the open-end procurement system. What do you mean by this open-end procurement policy? Means government announces MSP and it has to procure even a single grain whatever comes to its doors. It cannot deny. So open end. When say farmers, they keep on coming with the more and more food grains, it has to procure. Because the government has promised the farmers in terms of MSP that we will buy your food grains, your commodities at this much price. So they cannot say, okay, we'll procure only 100 million tons. So this is open end procurement system. Okay, now come to various kind of the schemes in our government, in our country. Come to Antyodaya Anna Yojana. Sorry?
It's not buying it directly from the farmers. It's the middleman who is selling it to the government.
No, farmers they are coming.
Then ultimately the farmers, they get very less amount of what they produce, right? These views were there.
I didn't get your question. Come again.
There was this news very recently that this farmer had produced about 100 tons of onions. And he got ultimately 1 rupee in return.
From the mandis? Yeah, this happens because what actually the prices in the mandi, the farm basically who are the farmers who are able to get benefit of MSP in the procurement by FCI, large farmers. So small farmers they ultimately end up selling in the MNDs.
And they have both the options. They can both be
Yes,
or they can
definitely. But basically I'm just making you understand. The maximum benefits in our country is taken by the large farmers, even this procurement by FCI at MSP. And small farmers, when they go to the mandis, they're being exploited. They don't even receive the prevalent prices. First of all, they don't have awareness regarding it, how much prices are prevalent in the market. A long chain of middlemen.
their MSP rule doesn't play.
No. MSP by the government. Yes. As per demand and supply, whatever it happens. That's why in terms of bumper sale, prices decline. So there it is the market based. So Antyodaya Anna Yojana. So it is for the poorest of the poor section of our society, of our country. So though there is PDS system, so among the BPL categories there is very extreme poor people. So poorest of poor among the BPL families. How much they are to get? 35 kg per family per month food grains. At what price? 2 rupees wheat and 3 rupees per kg rice. Okay, so will you be able to remember Antyodaya Anna Yojana, poorest of poor? You may have heard this many a time before. Come to next, computerization of PDS. So the government is looking for and is also implementing this end-to-end computerization. So end-to-end computerization of the whole PDS system. It was also a recommendation by Shanta Kumar Committee, high-level committee under the chairmanship of Shanta Kumar. So this committee was established to look for the role of FCI. Right. So it just gave certain recommendation to filter down the role of FCI, and it also said one thing that government should go for end-to-end computerization, and starting from the procurement to the distribution. Procurement, storage, transportation, distribution. So every end-to-end computerization. What will happen? The beneficiaries, beneficiaries will be identified by various, say, Aadhaar system or online of their ration cards and all, smart ration cards and all. Then, so it will, better targeting will happen. Bogus cards, they will go away. Moreover, if it comes into the procurement and transportation storage, so diversion will not happen. Diversion will be checked. So ultimately saving to the government, so cutting down of physical deficit and all, and more efficiency, more efficient and effective service delivery to the people. Because whenever you bring computerization, more transparency, more accountability. All these things are attached benefits of it. So you can use this kind of information somewhere in the mains. The next, National Food Security Act 2013. So this act envisages to cover 75% of rural population and 50% of urban population. And total how much it comes to be? 2/3. So you need to remember all these three data. So tell for rural population how much? 75%, urban 50, and total 2/3. So at what rate? Subsidized prices 5 kg food grains per person per month at 321 rupees for rice, wheat and coarse grains. Now another important thing is nutrition support to women and children. So women and children, they'll receive the food grains nutrition support as a part of this Food Security Act. Moreover, apart from this nutritional support in terms of the food and food grains, the women, they will also receive maternity benefits of minimum 6,000 rupees. It says not less than rupees 6,000. Now there is also a scheme, so it has to be, it is a, you can say, right based approach. People can demand, okay, this is our right. So in case they don't receive the rights that is promised to them, the government has to give the allowances, food allowances. So food security allowances will be given. So it ensures it is right based approach. So children up to 14 years of age, they are also entitled to take nutritious meals or take home rations as per the prescribed standards. Now there is a scheme, if you remember, that is Matritva Sahyog Yojana. Under this there is maternity relief benefits. Now there, if you go through, there is 4,000 rupees is the maternity benefits given to there. But now as in Food Security Act, it has come that minimum 6,000 has to be given. Sorry? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. In India, once you come through the data, it will say 4,000. But now that has been revised to 6,000. Yeah. Correct. Because as per the Act, it has to be minimum 6,000. So how can we have a scheme which gives 4,000? So in the economic survey, if you remember, it was given there that has been revised to 6,000 rupees to bring it in line with Food Security Act. So in India book, we will come through that scheme, but it says there 4,000, but we have to just modify that particular figure. So 6,000 rupees is the maternity benefit in 2 installments, 3,000 each. So just remember a couple of things: 75% population of rural, 50 urban, 2/3 total. Price, subsidized price 321, 5 kg food grains per person per month. Nutrition support to women and children, maternity benefits to women, 6,000 rupees as the amount. And in case they don't get the benefits, food security allowance. So it ensures what? This is right based approach. Come to next one, midday meal scheme. So midday meal scheme, don't get confused that the question can come, it is by the Department of Food and Civil Supplies or Public Distribution System, but no, or it may come, one of the options can come Ministry of Health and Family Welfare or Women and Child Development, but this scheme is by HRD, Ministry of HRD, because midday meal scheme, the basic purpose is to make the student to come to school, enroll, then they keep on coming, means attendance, and they don't drop out, means retention. So 3 basic components, that is enrollment, attendance and retention, and side by side improving their nutrition status. So that is also a component, but major one are these. So from these you can just link it that it is by Ministry of HRD. So for which class students? Class 1 to 8th. By government and government aided schools, education guarantee schemes, alternative innovative education centers. So all these school students of class 1 to 8th, they get the benefit under or food under midday meal scheme. If you remember, it was given in the education chapter. So there was registered madrasas and maktabas. They also give this midday meal scheme. Come to next. So ICDS is for what? So Ministry of Women and Child Development, they are running the scheme of ICDS, Integrated Child Development Scheme. So it is for, you can say, early childhood intervention, right? Up to 6 years, below 6 years, because from 6 to 14 years they get food under midday meal scheme. Now what about before 6 years? That is ICDS. integrated child development scheme. So even we have done many times that because the maximum growth of a person, of a child, that happens in the first 1,000 days. So in the initial days are very important for the nutritional health development, right? So if a child is not mentally or cognitively developed because of malnutrition and whatever reason, so that child won't be able to achieve the full potential in the adulthood. So whatever happens in those early childhood days, it casts shadow in the whole adult life. So what do we have for early childhood intervention? ICDS.
Isn't it overlapping with maternity?
How so? Yeah, there you say a child of 6 to. So see, it also says 6,000 rupees. Now the 6,000 rupees is not a scheme by food security. It will be given by the Matritva Sahyog Yojana there. Right? What your question is?
But there also for first 3 years, I think, no, it is pre-pregnancy 6 months, I think, that they will give the first 3,000, and then after the child is born,
Yes.
for next some years.
Correct. Yeah, for the first trimester to up. Yeah, correct.
Isn't it also, this scheme will also provide them for 6 years, the nutrition and everything.
In Matritva Sahyog,
It will be a cash.
yeah, cash pay, but it doesn't say ki up to 6 years. But I'm saying to there are many schemes. For example, Janni Shishu Suraksha Karyakram. They're up to one year for the infants. So different schemes, different targeting group they are, and different way they are working. But once we say about Food Security Acts, it says about 1st to 8th class. Now, 1st to 8th class, how these children will be given the food and nutritional component? It will be through ICDS. It will be through midday meal scheme. And till 6th, how ICDS will work? ICDS will work on the platform of Anganwadis. So these are interlinked to each other. Okay. Now come to next scheme, that is Sabla. Sabla is for empowerment of adolescent girls of 11 to 18 years of age. So it has both component, nutritional and non-nutritional. So it means enhance. So it is a overall empowerment, nutritional, health, and also bringing in skills, vocational training, life skills. So complete overall development of an adolescent girl. So the girl will be given nutritional health status training. Moreover, this improvement will be done by way of nutritional component by food to take away home rations, cooked meal to the adolescent girls. So 100 grams of grain per beneficiary per day for 300 days in a year. So means each and every component comes into being for adolescent girls in Sabla. So will you remember this thing? So both component, nutritional as well as skill development component, vocational training and life skills. And 11 to 18 years is the age. Because there is another scheme, if you remember, that is Kishore Swasthya Karyakram. Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram. There the age of Kishore is 10 to 19 years. Come to next scheme, that is Annapurna. So Annapurna scheme, it is by Ministry of Rural Development. Now there is one of the social assistance program, that is one of the social security scheme by government, that is called as NSAP, National Social Assistance Program. Under this National Social Assistance Program, there are various different schemes for people. One is Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme. Then Indira Gandhi National Disability Pension Scheme, Family Benefit Scheme, then Widow Pension Scheme. So these are different kind of and there is Annapurna scheme. So what do you have under this? Old Age Pension Scheme, Disability Pension Scheme, Widow Pension Scheme, Family Benefit Scheme, and Annapurna. So there are 5 schemes under National Social Assistance Program. Now, so this Annapurna scheme is one of them. Now, in Annapurna scheme, what actually happens, for example, a senior citizen is to receive pension under old age pension scheme. But in any case, that senior citizen is not able to avail that pension by whatever reason, maybe. In that case, that senior citizen will be given free food grains, 10 kg free food grains per month under the scheme. Right? So it means for any reason, किसी भी कारणवश अगर उस सीनियर सिटीजन को पेंशन नहीं मिल पाती है अंडर ओल्ड एज पेंशन स्कीम, इन दैट केस 10 kg फूड ग्रेन्स हर महीने फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट मिलेंगे. करेक्ट? दैट इज अन्नपूर्णा. Just remember this thing as well by Ministry of Rural Development. Now, 3 different schemes, 3 different departments. Midday meal, HRD. Then we discussed what? ICDS by? Yeah, Women and Child Development. And this one Annapurna by Rural Development. Come to next, that is Open Market Sales Scheme.
This was under social.
National Social Assistance Program.
That will be under which department?
Social Assistance Program, that is
Social power.
correct. So even if you don't remember exactly what different schemes they talk about, even if you remember name of scheme, say this program, National Social Assistance Program, so it covers all the variety of different people, different segments, and basically these are disadvantaged segment, old age, disabled, widow, right? So you can use this kind of information in GS paper 1 mains, that is social issues. तो अगर ज़्यादा कुछ ध्यान नहीं भी आता, if you remember this program, so you can put in somewhere कि भाई अगर disability कुछ आया है, then there is certain government program, this one, or for old age there is this one, for widow, सभी के लिए यही है. Under this program different components, one by one, that's it. Next, Open Market Sales Scheme. So what actually happened, no, first line it says what? Open End Procurement Policy. Do you see it? Open Market Sales Scheme. So open-ended procurement policy means whatever the food grains the farmers bring to the government has to procure that. So ultimately government end up procuring very excess amount of stock over and above buffer stock norms. So what actually happen now, when the FCI procures and store excess amount of food grains, there is a cost attached to it of the storage, chances of the wastage, transportation. A large amount of cost also comes into being under these segments of FCI. So what government does, government time to time liquidates these food godowns, FCI godowns, food grains, and it liquidates into the market, asking the large bulk consumers of food grains, for example mills and all. And it has also started asking the retailers as well. They could also come to participate in the open tender scheme of government under this open market sale. Why the government does? Excess storage at FCI. Secondly, to regulate the prices of food grains into market. Whenever any crunch of food grains into market, government can come up with open market sales scheme. Right? So this is the basic purpose. So open market sales scheme domestic. So government can also liquidate by exports as well. So there are both categories. So under open market sale domestic, government does it for checking food inflation and controlling price of food grains. Because in off season, what actually happens in harvest, peak harvest season, there is bumper food grains coming to the market, prices come down. But in off season, there is scarcity of food grains, then prices rises. So to control this kind of situation, government comes out with open market sale. Then what happens, many times it was seen that now what the prices of this open market sale scheme would be. It was in the earlier time, it was marginally over MSP. The price at what FCI was procuring from the farmers at MSP, marginally over it. So the various bulk consumers, they were not encouraged much enough to directly buy from the mandis initially. They thought like, okay fine, when the government comes out with open market sale, we'll buy from there. But now government has tried to, in the last 2 years, has tried to rationalize these prices so that the bulk consumers and other retailers, they are encouraged to buy directly from mandis. And we buy more from the mandis, it will bring more competition. And government won't have to store at the first place. Are you getting this thing? If there is more and more sale through mandis, FCI won't be in requirement to procure more. So government is trying to rationalize those prices, reserve prices, to be in open market sale. Right? So you just remember a few things about it. So you can read these certain highlighted points there. So this is a discussion what we have done now. Yeah, I did it today actually. I will just upload this in our group there. Today or tomorrow I will do this part. Okay. Then you can further down. Or otherwise there is only a couple of things I have done it today. So you can read the whole one if you want. If you see the last paragraph above the table, now FCI has also switched to entirely e-auction mode. So this is use of technology in procurement. Once you talk about end-to-end computerization, this is also part of it. Okay, when FCI does the auction, this auction should be by e-mode, e-auction. It will bring more transparency, right? Easy operations and transparent bidding process. Now come to Warehousing Development and Regulatory Authority. Warehousing Development and Regulatory Authority. Are you there? Okay. So there are warehouses, and these warehouses are registered under Warehousing Development Regulatory Authority. This one under this act. What actually the purpose of this? When the farmers after harvest, so these farmers, they have the option to go to these warehouses and store their food grains there, and in return of that they get negotiable warehouse receipts. Now farmers, against these negotiable warehouse receipts and WRs, they can take loan from the banks. What is the purpose of this one? Because generally after harvest, after cutting the crops, farmers are in hurry to get certain money, because they are in dearth of money every other time. So they end up selling their crops at lower prices, because harvest season, bumper production or whatever way, so at that time prices are low. So to prevent the distress sale from the farmers, now they can store these food grains, these commodities into the warehouse. They can get these receipts, warehouse receipts, and against these receipts, now they get the money. For the purpose they were selling the crops at the first place, now they are getting money by storing them in the warehouse, and they can do whatever the way they want to do it for the uses. And when the prices they are more profitable, then they can sell those food crops, those commodities from those warehouses. Correct? So you can use this information somewhere in mains or in prelims. If it comes, you just directly remember this thing. Come to sugar. So in sugar production, India is second largest, and in consumption largest. So India is the largest consumer and second largest producer of sugar in the world. Now how the prices are decided, the MSP and all. So for sugarcane pricing policy, there is FRP, fair and remunerative prices. Now how this FRP is decided of sugarcane? Again by the government. Which government? Central government, on the recommendation of CACP, after consulting state governments and Association of Sugar Industry. So this question was asked last year, that who decides or who announces fair and remunerative prices of sugarcane. Central government, read the statement again. Cane price announced by the central government. But how it is decided? On the recommendation of CSCP. So CSCP has a recommendation role. But who decides? Again, government, central government. So Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. It was the option and it was the correct option. If the question had been that government decides on the recommendation of which body, or who recommends FRP for sugarcane, then CSCP recommends. But who decides finally? Central government or Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Now this decision, definitely CSCP, it also the government also consults with state governments and sugar industry. So their interest is also brought into consideration, but ultimate decision remains with the central government. So under FRP system, the farmers are not supposed to wait for whether the sugar mills will get benefits, and based over them they will get the FRP. This is not like this, because ultimately if you see every other year the MSP of sugarcane, that is FRP of sugarcane, they keep on rising. But despite sugar mills are in losses. So despite sugar mills are in losses, the farmers, their FRP for sugarcane rises. That's why huge cane arrears that are lying along with sugarcane industry. Because at their losses, how they will pay up these high prices to farmers. So what government does at certain times to sort out a solution to increase liquidity in the sugar industry, it gives loans at very cheap credit, very cheap loans, interest subvention on the previous one, right? So that the sugar industry, the sugar mills could clear those cane areas to the farmers. So for mains also you can use this. Now come to consumer awareness. You may have been listening to this many a times. Jago Grahak Jago. More awareness to the consumers, because in today's world, how you can empower a citizen, a person, you tell the person what his or her rights are. Okay, so Jago Grahak Jago, more awareness to the consumers that their rights are protected. If they are promised something, that they should get it. Now what the question can come? That can come from consumer grievance redress in prelims. So in case the consumers, they don't get whatever they are promised to as per by the producers or the retailers, then they can approach. So this they are to be ensured of the quality in terms of whatever they have been assured, or quantity whatever the way. Now in case of grievances, they can approach Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum. So these are at 3 levels: district, state and at national level. At district level, the cases of value of up to 20 lakh rupees are heard. At state level, state commission, above 20 lakhs to 1 crore rupees. And at national level, above 1 crore. So very simple it is. For consumer protection, at 3 levels, there are 3 different forums. District forum, up to 20 lakhs. At state level, above 20 to 1 crore. National level, above 1 crore. So district forum में 20 लाख तक. Yes, correct. ठीक है. स्टेट लेवल पे 20 लाख से ज़्यादा, ऊपर 1 करोड़ तक. नेशनल लेवल पे 1 करोड़ से ज़्यादा. Now at the National Consumer Dispute Redress Commission, here it is headed by sitting or retired judge of Supreme Court, and appeal against this commission at national level, appeal against this can be filed to Supreme Court directly. It is filed to Supreme Court within 30 days, right? So if you remember, in case of NGT as well, Where the appeal goes to? In case of NGT, if anybody want to move against order of NGT, then where it can go? Supreme Court. Within 90 days, I think it was. Just cross check this thing, but I believe it is 90 days. Here, in case of National Consumer Grievance Redress, within 30 days to Supreme Court. Against CAT, person goes to High Court. Right? There it cannot bypass the authority of High Court. So Supreme Court has given a verdict in one of the judgment, in one of the case, that the people going against the tribunals, they cannot go directly to Supreme Courts. They cannot obviate High Courts.
I thought, like, after that settlement, the only authority is Supreme Court. That is actually for NGT.
For NGT, not for this one. So for limited cases only, for limited authorities only, or their tribunals or like this, they go to directly Supreme Court. Otherwise, in maximum cases, High Court. Bureau of Indian Standards, as per the Act, so it is a statutory organization. So that's all from this chapter. So try to recall what you did in this chapter, chapter number 15, Food and Civil Supplies. Correct. So by central government, recommendation of CACP. Both अच्छे. Then certain schemes, Food Security Act, right? 75% rural, 50% urban, 2/3 total. Then maternity benefit 6,000 rupees, so also contains nutrition component for women and child development. Then it's a Food Security Act. It's an act. Then Annapurna scheme, Antyodaya Anna Yojana, poorest of poor, right? So 35 kg food grains. Annapurna, part of NSAP, National Social Assistance Program. In case they don't get pension, they get free food grains. How much? I think 10 kg it was, right? So these are ICDS. Then it was midday meal scheme by HRD ministry. Okay. So these are certain schemes given there. Then about sugar, and finally about consumer protection, Jago Grahak Jago, and certain kind of grievance redressal forums. Chapter number 16, Health and Family Welfare. So in health, has been one Yojana on health, February month Yojana, I believe. So go through it. You can expect a question in mains. Now we focus over prelims part, if we get anything useful from India book. So we have National Health Mission, 2 submissions under this. One is having rural component, another an urban one. So NRHM and NUHM, Rural Health Mission and Urban Health Mission. Now whenever we discuss about health mission, or we can say state of health sector in our country, in that case there are certain keywords you can use at different places, and most of the discussion that will revolve around the achieving those keywords. For example, affordable, quality, accessible, equitable, universal. So if you go one by one, affordable means the healthcare services should be affordable to people, so that maximum people they can take benefits under this. And this healthcare service should also be having quality. Accessible means in reach of the people, within their reach. Equitable across different sections of society, including the disadvantaged one. And finally, universal. So you can use these keywords at certain places in the mains if the question comes with respect to health. Universal health coverage. It was recommended by whom? Universal health coverage. By high level committee, it was constituted under Planning Commission. Under Planning Commission it was instituted earlier. Dr. Srinath Reddy Committee.
That's already
Yeah. So Dr. Srinath Reddy recommended universal health coverage. Come to NRHM. So again, these keywords you'll find everywhere under the different health missions. Now focus especially over vulnerable groups. Same way for urban health mission, focus over urban poor and vulnerable section. Come to ASHA. So ASHA, they takes those healthcare services at grassroots level, at the local level, to the people, and specifically the marginalized section of society, and focusing over women and children. So they mobilize the health services, they mobilize the people, they mobilize the facilities. Right, so they are facilitator, mobilizer, and provider of community level care. At community level, the care is their care provider. If you see, they are engaged in the various immunization programs, vaccination, disease control programs, polio vaccine, polio drops and all. So they are engaged in all these kind of activities. They also aware the women about the nutritional health care or reproductive child health care. They also aware them about what kind of the nutrition they should take, the breastfeeding practices. So these kind of the things that the ASHA workers help those people at the local level. So you can see these things. So what they contribute into, their contribution is in the institutional delivery, immunization, disease control programs like malaria, kala-jar, lymphatic filariasis, and improved breastfeeding and nutritional practices. Now after this National Urban Health Mission, now ASHA workers, they are also selected for urban areas also. So if question comes, you may get confused somewhere, people can get confused that ASHA for rural. But no, now ASHA workers are also selected in urban centers as well. ठीक है, तो ध्यान रखोगे इस बात को, आशा केवल रूरल इलाकों के लिए नहीं है, they are also for urban as well after this urban health mission. Now there was one of the scheme for the training and certification of ASHA workers in Health Yojana. What's the name of that scheme? Initiative by the government? Mobile Academy, right? So Mobile Academy, so ASHA workers, they will be trained by the certain video lectures on their mobiles. So they can go through at their ease whenever they get time. And after completion of course, they shall be certified as well. So this kind of training and all, what it actually does. One thing is it ensures quality healthcare to the people, because more trained ASHA workers, better healthcare facilities to people. Moreover, it also increases self-esteem and dignity of those ASHA workers. So both purpose this kind of training that serves. So that is Mobile Academy. If you remember any other IT initiative that was there in that particular place, I think 3-4 initiatives were given. Mobile Academy was one, then Kilkari. Yes, Kilkari is what? Kilkari is something, audio messages to be given to mothers, pregnant ladies, to ensure they get more and more awareness about nutritional and health component, so that they can take care for the best practices, best breastfeeding practices, whatever the nutritional health component of the mother as well as child, by those audio messages. Kilkari. Then there were various other like MC session was one, then RNTCP. Now come to next here. Rogi Kalyan Samiti, basically to ensure that best facilities are given, or management of hospital is taken care of for better facilities for the patients in the hospital. Now all the from the PSC to the district hospital, every different community members, they are part of this Rogi Kalyan Smriti. Janani Suraksha Yojana for institutional delivery. Janani Sishu Suraksha Karyagram. Now this is more important than Janani Suraksha Yojana. Janani Sishu Suraksha Karyagram. So it ensures institutional delivery. So basic objective to reduce the MMR and IMR, maternal mortality rate and infant mortality, right? So it includes, it's a very wide-based scheme. All kind of the expenditure that a woman goes through in the hospital will be taken care by the government under this scheme. The nutrition component, the food and all. Even if the delivery happens by operation, that is cesarean section, that also is taken care by the government. Referral to the other hospital, transportation in that case, or transportation back to home to the last level by the government. And also taking care of the sick infants up to 1 year of age. They are also by the government under this scheme. Right? So it will promote what? Institutional delivery. Now come to next, Rashtriya Bal Swasthya Karyakram. Under this Rashtriya Bal Swasthya Karyakram, so it says what? Early detection and management of 4 Ds: defects at birth, disease, deficiencies, development delays including disability. Now this, you can use this somewhere in mains if it comes, or indirectly as if question comes regarding health of the children in whatever way. So see, even if you don't remember name of scheme, you can use this in a general way, that early detection and management of 4 Ds, for example, defects at birth, disease, deficiency, development delays including disability. Next, Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram. So to reach out to 253 million adolescents. Adolescent age is a very critical age, very fast transitions, rapid development in physical as well as hormonal changes a lot. So they need more and more counseling, they need better health facilities if you want these adolescents to become a healthy adult. So this government scheme is trying to focus over the all-round development of the adolescents in our country. So what they focus over? They focus over, so it doesn't limit itself to only reproductive and sexual health. It also includes life skills, nutrition, injuries and violence, including gender-based violence, non-communicable disease, mental health, substance misuse. All these are components under this Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram. Age group 10 to 19 years. And in Sabla, correct. And this Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram by which ministry? Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Keep on flipping your pages, or sorry, this time you have to scroll it down. Convergence, intersectoral convergence. So convergence is very important because health, you cannot isolate this sector. Okay, the health, it's on page number 420. Very unique page it is. Unique number in fact. So intersectoral convergence and promotion and guidance of resource governance. So basically I'll just make you understand that it won't be asked directly in prelims or wherever, just to ensure you to how to use this information somewhere, that there should be convergence of different departments, different ministry and their schemes. Why? Because health issue, you cannot isolate this. It is very much linked to sanitation, to water, to gender equality. Because see, if anybody falls sick, who has the responsibility in our homes? Basically the woman takes care. So gender component is also there. So different, it transcends across different sectors. So different schemes, they have to get converged together. If you cannot ensure good health status without providing them good sanitary facilities or without providing them potable water. Come to page number 426, that is Indian System of Medicine and Homeopathy. 425. That is Ayush. So Ministry of Ayush, but all are the components under Ministry of Ayush. Now our government is giving a lot of focus over yoga and Ayush system. So the components are Ayurveda, Yoga, Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha, Homeopathy. So these all are the components. So tell the names once again.
Ayurveda, rise to yoga, and naturopathy, use Unani as Siddha and Homeopathy.
Right, so you need to remember these. Now apart from these, Sova Rigpa, that is also a component of Ayush. Rigpa, see the last line, Sova Rigpa. It is a recent addition, latest addition to Ayush system. So question has not been asked from this one. If any question becomes, so it can be one of the important questions. Which all are the components of Ayush? And Sova Rigpa will be one of the component given in the options. So from where Sova Rigpa is adopted from where? Which regions specific it is? Tibet. It is popularly known as Amchi system. If you remember, since the Buddhist times, there had been the different scholars from the China, Tibet, they used to come to India in our famous industries, Nalanda University, Nalanda University and all those learning centers. So there was a regular exchange, or these scholars used to just go here, our used to go there. But basically our was major cultural heritage and learning center in India. So it is said like from there it spread to Tibet, and Tibet they somehow modified it or in their own way, and Sova Rigpa was established. So it is very much linked to Ayurveda. Sova Rigpa, it is very much familiar with or very much synonymous with Ayurveda. So what do we call it? Popularly known as Amchi. Amchi system of medicine. Okay. So Sova Rigpa is similar to Ayurveda. Now our government is also bringing or this Ayush system some alternative health system actually it is, right, to the grassroots level, in the district level. That's all from this chapter. I'll try to revise, try to recall what all topics we did it. In health chapter, what we did. We started with National Health Mission, right? And even the draft National Health Policy is in public domain. 2015 draft National Health Policy. So you can expect a question in prelims as well as in mains. So what is the recommendation, major recommendation, one of the major recommendation in that draft National Health Policy? Making health a fundamental right. So when it will be adopted, then let's see what happens, because ultimately now people could approach court as violation of their fundamental right if they don't get it, after making this policy as the official one. Till now it is draft only. So National Health Mission, two components, urban, rural, very focused on certain keywords. Keywords are important keywords: affordable, quality, accessible, equitable, universal. Universal health coverage by Dr. Srinath Reddy Committee. Then we discuss certain schemes, Janani Suraksha Karyakram, Janani Sishu Suraksha Karyakram. See, both are there, Sishu and Suraksha. And earlier it was Janani Suraksha Yojana. There was focus over only institution delivery. Here Janani Sishu Suraksha Karyakram. So both over Janani as well as Sishu. All kind of care, nutritional, referral service, transportation cost, even taking. Yes. Yes, correct.
And then the Suraksha one was Ministry, I think, of Women.
See, these schemes are by that ministry only, yes. Women and Child Development. Sishu Suraksha Karyakram is also, I think, from Women and Child Development, or just that should be from Women and Child Development. They haven't mentioned it, but it appears to be from there only. Okay, then what we did? Kishore Swasthya Karyakram, 10 to 19 years of age, and covering all the different components, not only limiting to the sexual and the reproductive care only. Right. Yes, correct. Peer-to-peer, community-based, all these will be the components of it. Yes, correct. You are very much correct. So what else? Then Ayush, we did it. So Varikpa is a part of this. Now come to housing, chapter number 17. So housing, urbanization is very important component. So urbanization contributes around 60% of India's GDP. See, very huge amount of contribution it gives to GDP. But once with urbanization, it has also certain spillover effect in terms of slums, right? So slum population comprise around 18% of urban population as per current census 2011. So it has also certain adverse effects in terms of rising slum population, slums where very poor sanitary and health facilities are there. Come to next, housing for all, urban. So government has been focusing over housing for all, and our Prime Minister had promised that by the 175th birth anniversary of Gandhiji in 2022, housing to everybody. We have to ensure houses to everybody. So government vision of facilitating housing to all by 2022. So by 2nd October 2022, government envisages to ensure affordable housing for everybody. So this is the urban component of that. So in urban component of housing for all, it will target urban poor living in slums and others. And there are 4 components. Now come read these 4 components. One is slum rehabilitation. And slum rehabilitation, private developers will be encouraged. And here land as a resource will be used. For example, they may be asked to develop a slum into certain housing community, housing society, and when housing society is developed, certain area they can get for themselves, the private developers, and they can make a mall or something like this so that they can also take benefit. Because in metro cities and cities, basically, land is very important resource, and you can find slums in very important areas, right? So there, the private sector could be encouraged to come and help in the housing development for those people. Second, affordable housing for weaker section through credit-linked subsidy, means by providing cheap loans. So government will give cheap loans, interest subvention, and around 4% interest at this particular interest loans will be given, so that people by themselves can initiate building their houses. Then by encouraging our partnership with public and private, And fourth part, subsidy for beneficiary-led individual house construction or enhancement. Means it will encourage the individuals to build their houses, and government will give certain amount of money to them. For example, it says rupees 1.5 lakh per house for EWS category, right? For say, if any house construction takes around 5 to 6 lakhs rupees, government will give 1.5 lakh rupees. So subsidy is given so that individual could be encouraged to build their house, right? So go through these four components once again. You should remember all these four. So what are the four components of housing for all urban?
Some rehabilitation which will do that the private companies, private players will be encouraged to come in with so that and later they can be given around 1 lakh or 2 lakh.
No, there is basically just remember land is a resource. इतना ही ध्यान रखना आपको बस. ठीक है, हाँ.
एक बार मैंने क्या बात बोल रहा है कि इस वन रिजर्वेशन ग्रांट happens 1 lakh per house. Every house they build, they
Yes.
get a grant for it. And this,
Second,
they give cheap credit.
cheap loans. Yes. Third,
4%.
mhm,
Then
public and private partnership. And fourth, subsidy. Both अच्छे. So first, slum rehabilitation with land as a resource. Second, cheap credit. Third, public-private partnership. And fourth, subsidy to house building. That's it. So one of the important specifications is that this housing that will be built for the people, it will have all the civic amenities, all the civic facilities, water, sanitation, sewerage, electricity, telephone, means all the facilities should be given to the people there. So it says houses of up to 30 square meter carpet areas to be provided all these facilities and all. So focus is over slum, the economically weaker section, low income group people. Come to next, technology submission. It basically facilitate adoption of modern technology, green technologies, and building materials for faster and quality construction of houses, so that houses can be built up of high quality and in a faster way by adopting the modern technologies. And if we go for green technologies, so it will be sustainable as well. Come to next, National Urban Livelihood Mission. So under this mission, see, urban and livelihood means the people in urban areas, their livelihood concern will be taken care by this mission. In what way? By organizing them in federation, for example SHG. So once you organize and mobilize the people in SHG, now they can have better bargaining, they can work in a better organized way for their employment. And the government will also provide them skill training and link to the market placement, so that once they get skilled from by the government skill programs, so they can get easily placed in on the basis of the market employment. Moreover, government will also provide them certain cheap credit to start any entrepreneurial business, right? So livelihood includes both employment, that is wage-based employment, secondly self-employment. So both are taken care of by this mission. Moreover, the street vendors, you find these street vendors, rehdi wale, you find it in everywhere. So their interest shall also be protected under this mission. And urban homeless, shelter to be given to urban homeless, permanent shelter to urban homeless people. Now we see the various important components. 6 components are given, 7. First one, social mobilization and institution development. So just remember social mobilization by how? Mobilizing the people at community level by SHG, by forming self-help groups and their federation. Then capacity building. Capacity building means training and capacity building of all the stakeholders involved. SHG, government functionaries, NGOs, all those people. Then employment through skill training, so people will be skilled and then they could get employment. Fourth, self-employment, so government will help or train them or give them cheap credit so that they could get or they could turn into entrepreneurs. Fifth, support to urban street vendors. Sixth, urban homeless shelter for them. And seventh, innovative and special projects. So go through them once again and try to remember. Some basic component are these ones. Even initial highlighted parts in the first paragraph, it also includes all these points. So you can read the first paragraph whole and try to recall. So tell the components, important components of National Urban Livelihood Mission.
Mobilization with the help of the SSGs.
Okay.
Then providing shelter to the homeless.
Okay.
Then was the self-employability as well as the wage employability.
Yes. By training them and giving them easy credit.
Parts of our
Yes.
Innovation and technology.
So see, have you read the first paragraph? Read the first paragraph. The gist is given in first paragraph.
Organizing the SSGs, creating opportunities, market environment, helping them self-employment, easy credit, providing good shelter, essential services, and street vendors.
Right. So first you organize them, socially mobilize them by forming SHG and their federations, SHG federation. Capacity building of those SHG and all the stakeholders. Now how the people they can get employment? Wage-based employment if they are skilled. So skilled component is there. Easy credit access so that they could be organized to start any self-employment. Shelter to homeless people and taking care of street vendors. That's all. Then there is Street Vendors, Protection of Livelihood and Regulation of Street Vending Act 2014. This, just remember, there is such kind of act. In prelims, I don't think so they will ask it, but for mains you can remember that there is one of the act known as Street Vendors Act. If question comes somewhere, for example, smart city. So even the smart city has to be inclusive, right? Though we want unimpeded access on the roads and we don't want the encroachment by the different people, but even the livelihood, those people cannot be taken at stake. So our smart city has to be inclusive as well, that provides smart solutions to each and everybody across different sections of society. So also taking care of the street vendors, their interest, we have this act. So that is Street Vendors Act 2014. Then there is Real Estate Regulation and Development Bill. Now this has been passed this year. Real Estate Act, so now we have this act. And by this act, Real Estate Regulatory Authority has been established. Now do you remember? So why there was need of such an act, or the benefits that one can expect from this act?
That there were delays in the projects.
Yes, basically there was no authority earlier to take care of the grievances of the people. And there are the people who are the builders and the investors, these builders are actually they have huge money and muscle power. and people who buy the homes, flats. So you see, this sector is highly irregulated, not regulated in fact. So every other person, they have the fear, what if they don't get the project in time, what if they don't get the home in time, they've invested a huge amount of money in their flats and all. So to ensure that their interests are taken care of, to ensure these people get justice, whatever they are being promised, to ensure regulated growth in real estate sector. So real estate can provide a lot to the GDP, but we want this contribution has to be in a not in haphazard manner. The growth in real estate should be in a more regulated manner, right? So this authority is there to ensure that. Then sustainable development goals under UNGA, there was MDG earlier, right? So MDG, they have, their tenure has come across. So in 2015, SDG replaced MDG. So the question comes directly, how many goals and how many targets? You should have exact numbers to remember. How many goals? 17 goals, and targets? 169 targets. Remember them exactly. It will be an easy question, but if you don't remember exactly what the numbers are, you may mark it wrong. So 17 goals and 169 targets. Goal number 3 talks about what? Health. Correct. So in health, you have discussed at different places, different articles, they kept on mentioning this thing. That goal number 3 linked to health. That's all from this chapter. So chapter number 17 was housing. Now try to recall the points. Try to recall the topics we did and the points inside that.
We started with housing for all.
Okay.
There were these 3 components.
Try to recall. Housing for all, right? Slum rehabilitation. Basically, housing to be given to whom? Affordable housing to whom? People who don't have housing. Who don't have housing? People living in slums. Slum rehabilitation using land as a resource by attracting the private players. Second,
Providing them with the basic amenities.
cheap credit at 4% rate of interest. Then public-private partnership, third one, and fourth, providing them subsidy, around 1.5 lakh rupees that was given. So, yes, housing for all urban components. फिर से बताइए क्या क्या है? Slum rehabilitation. Last. Subsidy. ठीक है, subsidy to individuals for building houses. The next topic, important topic, urban livelihood mission. National Urban Livelihood Mission. Tell the important components of this mission. See, urban livelihood. To give livelihood. How to give livelihood? Organize them in SHG. Okay? So you just don't jump in the middle point. Start from the initial way. First you have to organize them. Organize them in SHG and SHG Federation. Cheap credit. Cheap credit for what? See, livelihood, two components, wage-based and self-employment. For wage-based employment, they are to be skilled so that they can get market-based jobs there. For self-employment, they need money, right? So easy access to credit for self-employment. And then finally, it also includes shelter for urban homeless and also interest of street vendors. So these are important components of urban livelihood mission. You just have open see what actually is happening there in the urban areas, what kind of people they live in, and how their livelihood interest can be secured. You go out of this here in Rajendra Nagar, you can see the street vendors, and it is also a very recurring phenomenon that the police personnel, they come to these street vendors, they extort these people, hafta vasool karte hain. Now, as per the act, there is act as well. They should not be, in fact, or the interest should be taken care under this mission as well. So, आप देखिए जरा क्या हो रहा है लाइवलीहुड में, कैसे कैसे आप काम कर सकते हैं. So, you have to organize the people, skill them, provide easy credit to start any self-employment, to turn them into an entrepreneur. So these are basic components. That's it. Come to this chapter, India and the World, chapter number 18. Now, what kind of questions in prelims you can expect from this chapter? Basically from international relations part and from geography part. Because they ask the question, for example, arrange them west to east or north to south like this. They also ask where this place is. For example, they asked Golan Heights in 2015. So where Golan Heights is? In fact,
Captured by Saudi.
Israel. It was part of Syria and it was captured by Israel. Yes, but now it is in the occupancy of Israel. Okay. So, and even the options, very wide options. West Asia, Central Asia, Africa. So you know it's in West Asia. They also ask Fortaleza. Fortaleza, it's in Brazil, and there was BRICS summit in 2014. That's why it was asked. So these kind of questions you can expect based over the international events, international relations. So tell the neighbors of India with whom India shares land boundary in decreasing order.
Decreasing order.
Yes. Decreasing order in terms of length of land boundary.
First is Matrimony has Bangladesh.
Yes.
Then would be Pakistan.
China.
They have more as compared to Pakistan.
Yes.
No, China and then Pakistan.
Pakistan.
Then Bhutan, Nepal,
Hmm.
and then
Where is Myanmar then? Myanmar is also a
yeah,
neighbor. So Bangladesh, then China, then Pakistan, then Nepal, then Myanmar, then Bhutan, and finally Afghanistan. Come to Afghanistan. So certain events, if you see, Afghanistan is very important for India. Even India is taking part in the reconstruction of Afghanistan, investing there. We built the parliament. So India built the parliament. Our Prime Minister went to Afghanistan there to inaugurate it. And even this year, our Prime Minister went to Afghanistan to inaugurate Friendship Dam. Now this can become an important question. Where Friendship Dam is located? Another name for Friendship Dam, Salma Dam. So Friendship Dam or Salma Dam, in which province of Afghanistan? Herat. Herat province. Open your atlas, locate this. Where is Herat? Herat. Yeah, so the question can be asked: Herat, Kabul, Peshawar, locate them or arrange them north to south or like this. So you can open. Okay, so that's all for today's class. If you like this video, you hit like and subscribe to our channel as well, so that you get notification automatically whenever we bring new videos. If you want us to bring more such amazing videos for you people, you comment on the below section. Thank you. See you soon.